Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this is number 7 in my series of 20 favourite LP tracks stroke B-sides of some of my favourite artists. And the last one I did was T-Rex, and if you do T-Rex you have to do Slade. The two of them were like rivals in the early 70s and they were the two most successful glam rock bands in the UK. Slade had 6 #1 hit singles, 3 of them of which in 1973 went straight into the charts at #1, and they also had 3 #1 albums which were Slade, Sladist and Old New Bored and Blue, but they never had the success in America. Their best chart position was actually at number 20 in 1984 with Run Run Away from the Keep Your Hands Off My Power Supply album, which was a reworking of the amazing Kamikaze Syndrome album, which was released here in the UK. So going through the 20 tracks again, really difficult, but I have picked 20 and I shall show some albums and some singles for the B-sides. Okay, at number 20, and I'm going to give it to the B-side of Squeeze Me Please Me, and it's Kill 'Em at the Hot Club Tonight. Now this is like a 20s type song. Think of McCartney's You Give Me the Answer or Honey Pie, and this is quite similar, but it's guitar led. It's the actual lead guitar is picking away at it, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it is reminiscent of that sound from the 20s, and I think it's brilliant. And the B-side, as I say, of Squeeze Me Please Me. I'd put that up here at number 19, and it's a track from their Play It Loud album, and it's One Way Hotel. Now this is early Slade. This was released in 1970, and Noddy hadn't got his shrieky voice yet, but so it does sound like early Slade. His voice is deeper, it's very good. It's a guitar picking song as well, with a bit of a rousing chorus. This too was a B-side, but I don't have the single it was from. It was very expensive to get, but it is on this album. So One Way Hotel from Play It Loud. At number 18, and I'm going to show this as the B-side because it was originally a B-side, and it's My Town, the B-side of My Friend Stan. It then got on to the Old New Bored and Blue album about 4 months later. And this is just a really good, catchy, melodic rocker. Yeah, it's just a very strong Slade song. And as I say, it's from Old New Bored and Blue, but originally the B-side of My Friend Stan. At number 17, and I'm going to give it to All the World Is a Stage, and this is the last song on side 2. And this is actually quite atmospheric. It's quite echoey, it's quite spacey, and then there's a very sort of spacey chorus as well. It reminds you of sort of mid-70s. I'm not going to say it's prog because it's not prog, but it has hints of it. It's not in your face, and it's almost like on a different dimension whenever you're listening to it. I think it's really good. It comes from this Nobody's Fools album from 1976. At number 16, and from Slade and Flame, it's the song called Summersong, and in brackets Wishing You Were Here. Now this is like an acoustic-y type Beatlesque sing-along song, which is just great. It really is. This is I think their most Beatlesque album, and it just goes to show how good Jim Lee and Noddy Holder were at writing melodies, because it's so melodic. It's just a really strong song. At number 15, and I'm going to give it to The Roaring Silence from You Boys Make Big Noise, which was their last studio album in 1987. Now this itself was part of a double pack with the Still the Same single, and this led off the actual second record of the double pack, but it was only part of that double pack, so really it is like an extra track or a B-side, but it is on this album, and it's one of those rousing numbers where you know you can get the crowd singing along to this, the scarf waving. It's not my oh my slow type song. It is mid-paced, and I think it's really, really good, and would be a crowd pleaser if they were playing live. But by this time, I think their last gigs were in 1983. So The Roaring Silence gets my number 15. And at number 14, and it's from the previous album, and this is Rogues Gallery, and the song is Harmony, and it's the same type of song as Roaring Silence. It's one of those sing along ones and get the scarf waving and belt it out at the top of your voice. I think it's really, really good. I think it would have served well as a single too, but not to be. I believe some Slade fans don't actually like this, but I always thought it was one of the highlights of this album. So Harmony gets my number 14. At number 13, and we go back to the Nobody's Fools album, and I'm going to give it to the song LA Jinx. Now this was the B-side of the title track, which failed to chart. In fact, it was the first single that didn't chart for Slade after the success of Get Down Get With It in 1971. This has got a more soulful sound to it, and I think it's just a really, really great song. The guitar work on it is really slightly more funky than normal, and I think it really works well. And LA Jinx, the second song on side 2, and it's a bit different for them as well. Like, it was 1976, and most acts around that time were sort of feeling out the more soul sound, like Bowie did, and Bowen, Diddy and Hunter did, and Slade did as well with LA Jinx and Nobody's Fools. So yeah, really, really good song, and that gets my number 13. And number 12, and a real glam rocker from Old New Borrowed and Blue, and it's Do We Still Do It, and it's the first song on side 2, and I think it's magnificent. It is a real rousing rocker. Again, it's so melodic, and you just sing along to it. Really, really good song. It could be a single as well, but not to be. They went with the ballad Every Day, which is probably the better choice, but still. Do We Still Do It? Great song from 74, Old New Borrowed and Blue. Okay, at number 11, and this is quite acoustic-y, and it's from the Return to Base album, and it's called Don't Waste Your Time. And there's like a keyboard, it's almost like a Hammond organ sound to this, although I think it's a synthesizer. And it is a really, really good song from an album that sold about 5 copies. Unfortunately, this didn't make the We'll Bring the House Down album, because it was made up of songs from this album and other songs. So this was left alone, but it did get onto the 6 of the Best EP in 1980. Really, really good song. So Don't Waste Your Time is my number 11. At number 10, and probably what would be the best opener of any Slade concert, and it's Rock and Roll Preacher, when Noddy sings Brothers and sisters, we are gathered here to join an ear-holy catastrophe and all the rest of it. I've got that lyric wrong, but it's really good. It's so upbeat. It goes at 100 miles an hour. Now, it was a single in Germany, but it wasn't in the UK, and it's just a fantastic song from a really good, strong album, and it's a quite heavy album this as well. So Rock and Roll Preacher gets my number 10. At number 9, and we have a B-side, and it's a standalone B-side, and it's the B-side of The Bangin' Man, and it's called She Did It To Me, and it's a ballad, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's a better song than The Bangin' Man, but Every Day had just been a hit single, so they were not going to release 2 ballads in a row. But yeah, absolutely fantastic song, She Did It To Me. And at number 8, and it's from Slade and Flame, and it's Them Kind of Monkeys Can't Swing, and with the opening drums. This goes at 100 miles an hour as well. Absolutely brilliant song. Again, it's very, very melodic, and it's quite heavy, but it is a very fast-paced song, and it's really, really good, and that gets my number 8. At number 7, and we have from Rogues Gallery, it's Little Sheila, which is very similar to Jump by Van Halen, although these guys wrote the song first way back in 1980. Well, Jim Lee did. Now, this was a single in some European territories, but again, it wasn't in the UK. It's very highly synthesized, just like the Van Halen Jump single, but I think it's magnificent and I love it, and it gets my number 7. At number 6, and again we go back to Slade LP, and it's the last track called Standing on the Corner, and this is full of horns, and this is one of Don Powell's favourites as well. And again, it is slightly different, and it is very horn based, very horn led, but I just think it's magnificent, and it's just different. It's completely different to what they were doing, and you know, you're totally surprised when you heard this, but it works so well. So Standing in the Corner gets my number 6. And number 5, from Old New Borrowed and Blue, and it's When the Lights Are Out, which is the second song on side 1. It should have been the first song, because they put in Just Want a Little Bit, which was a cover version, an old rock and roll cover version, which was not very good. This is sung by Jim Lee. Jim Lee's not the best of singers, so he's not, but when Noddy comes in the chorus, it's really, really good. Don't get me wrong, Jim does a fine job in this, and again, it's very Beatlesque, and it's a really fine, catchy number. So that gets my number 5. At number 4, and we'll go back to Till Death Do Us Part, and it's the rocker Let the Rock Roll Out of Control, and this is their most status quo-esque type song. Again, absolutely brilliant, catchy as hell, and goes so quickly. It's a fast number, but it is so catchy, and I love it, and it should have been a single. At number 3, and from probably their heaviest album, and it's from the Whatever Happened to Slade album, and it's It Ain't Love But It Ain't Bad. Now this is just this is different. It's heavy in the actual bass and the drums and the percussion, and everything is really, really good. It's almost ploddy heavy, but Noddy's vocals are magnificent on it, and it's just a truly magnificent song, and it's a standout along with Gypsy Roadhog on this album. So that gets my number 3. And at number 2, and this, funny enough, is from, this is actually Noddy Holder only song, so there's no Jim Lee credit to this. It's just credit to Noddy Holder, and it's The Whole World's Going Crazy. And we used to have this, in fact I still have it, on an old flexi disc years ago. We never had this album, but we had that flexi disc, and that flexi disc got played to death. So it's such a really good song, and this is where Noddy really lets rip with the vocals, and I think he does a magnificent job. It's a rock and roll number. Again, it's melodic, it's catchy, but it's so good, and it would burst your eardrums if you have it too high. You know, his vocals in this are the ones that would smash glass if he kept on. Really, really good, and that gets my number 2. And my favourite Slade LP track comes from Old New Borrowed and Blue, and it's Miles Out to Sea, and it's very Beatlesque. It's acoustic-y, but acoustic-y with an electric guitar. It's an electric guitar strummed, really, and it's magnificent, and yet again it's one of those songs you just can't help singing to. And I think it's about nearly 4 minutes long, and it's just every second of it is brilliant. So Miles Out to Sea is my favourite Slade LP track. Okay, so there's a look at my top 20 Slade LP tracks and B-sides. There's an awful lot more I could have chosen, like Look at Last Night from Slade, Slam the Hammer Down from Amazing Kamikaze Syndrome, the whole of the Slade and Flame album, as well as the Old New Born Blue album. Loads I could have chose, but still, those are the 20 I actually did come up with. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.